Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to a wonderful book reading. Let's start our journey today with reading a beautiful story in the Slight Edge. So, here we were being explained about the winning edge. Let's read it. The slight edge is a process every winner has used to succeed since the dawn of time. Winning is always a matter of the slight edge. One of the most highly anticipated events at the Summer Olympics is men's swimming. Going on to the 2008 Beijing Games, there's a lot of hype surrounding Michael Phelps, who would be gunning for Mark Splitt's 36-year-old record of 7 gold medals. The first 7 medals came rather easily, but his eighth medal was one for the ages, the 100-meter butterfly. When he came down with the final stretch, it looked like he was going to fall just inches short. After touching the world was stunned when the clock showed that Michael had edged out Milorad Kavik by 1/100th of a second. Yes, that's a very slight edge, but it's all he needed to secure a record eighth gold medal. Perhaps becoming the greatest Olympic athlete ever. What if he had what if he had lost by 1/100th of a second? Would we be calling for him the greatest Olympic athlete ever? Probably not. Do you know what makes the difference between a 300 hitting baseball star with a multi-million-dollar contract and a .260 plus player making only an average salary? Less than one additional hit per week over the course of the season. And you know what makes a difference between getting that hit and striking out? About 1/4 inch up or down the bat. No golf fan will ever forget the Masters tournament where Phil Mickelson was left with a 20-foot putt on the 18th hole of the final round. Miss it even by 1 inch, and he would have head into a playoff with the number 2 players in the world, Ernie L. Make it, and he would finally silence the critics and win his first major. The putt rolled in, and Mickelson had his green jacket. Over the course of the tournament's 4 days, Mickelson shot a .279, 6 strokes better than his competitor. The difference, 1.5 strokes per day better. The slight edge. And it's not just in sports, it's in everything. In 1998, a book called The Millionaires Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko became a runaway bestseller. What so amazed readers and the fact that people profiled in the book were incredibly ordinary. Everyday sorts of folks with normal and even mediocre level jobs who had created extraordinary wealth by truly remarkable, unexpected, amazing strategy. It consisted of, you guessed it, doing little, mundane, ordinary, insignificant, everyday things with their money. If you had followed any of these people around for the 20 or 30 or 40 years during which they were amassing their financial empires, I promise you it would not have been breathtakingly exciting, no more exciting than it would be if it follows an Olympic athlete in training every day from 3:30 a.m. wake-up call to exhausted collapse into bed at night. We love rags to riches stories, and suddenly underdog becomes hero stories. And we use them to motivate people because they are so exciting and dramatic. Actually, no, the truth is not exciting at all when they're really happening. They only seem dramatic in their retelling. But the reality is that the rags to riches success story person has gotten to where he is by simply making mundane, quiet, little slight edge decisions and repeating simple disciplines day in, day out. It's not exciting to read about. It's not exciting to make a movie about. It's not even exciting to do. But believe me, it sure is exciting when you finally get to experience the results. No matter in what arena, in life, on work, or play, the difference between winning and losing, the gap that separates success and failure is so slight, so subtle, most never see it. Superman may leap tall buildings at a single bound. Here on earth, we win through the slight edge. Let's talk about the key points of chapter number 5. We look for the cure, the breakthrough, the magic pill, the medical scientific quantum leap, miracle our press has dubbed the magic bullet. But the solution already exists. It always did. Is it magic? Yes, the same magic that caused the problem, the power of daily actions compounded over time, the magic of the slight edge. Dennis Winster says, who's an author and financial freak, I grew up as a seventh or eighth kids. We did not have a lot of money. Nobody in my family had a college degree, but I had big dreams for my future. How could I make them build a reality without the advantages of the wealthy and successful showing me the ways? How could I start with nothing and truly live the American dream? A close relative was always pursuing the next gold mine, investing in a just discovered oil well, the next big thing. I thought, is this the way to pursue my dreams? I discovered the slight edge principle and started channeling the burning desire I had for success into the correct daily habit. And I knew that over time I would build momentum that would really help me to reach my goals. I knew that by consistently working towards my goals with a positive attitude, I would see my dreams becoming a reality. Boy, was I right. I live, ha- had the privilege to travel the world, raise a great family, live never dreamed of, that I never dreamed of. I've never dreamed of. Because of these principles, unfortunately, my close relative still is pursuing the next big thing. Inspirational. Adam Russell of Miami, who's a principal and CEO of Global Resource Broker LLC, says, after reading the slight edge, I realized how I ended up where I in life. I was like a ship without a rudder, a wandering general. I have always known I wanted to be successful. However, I never realized that it was not that big chance of huge deal that was going to do it. I finally understood it was a day-to-day events that I did or did not decide to do that made the true difference in my life. As I sat and looked at my life, I finally got the picture. From that day forward, I tried to apply the slight edge to everything I was doing from business to relationships, although it was hard at first. Once I got used to doing the little things every day, it made all the difference in the world. I now have a wonderful woman in my life, a thriving business, and time to reflect on what is the most important to me. Now we're going to begin the chapter number 6, and let's see where we reach and what stories we understand and how we can take it forward. Chapter number 6, the 7 slight edge principles. By now, you have learned what the slight edge is all about, how it can work for you or against you. You have also read about the importance of doing the little things every day that don't seem like a big deal but are a big deal. Seemingly insignificant tasks done daily that add up to success. You've also learned how I have implemented the slight edge philosophy into my life and how it has been the core foundation for my success. And by now you have perused through some of the stories of slight edge readers, people from all walks of life whose lives have changed by adhering to slight edge philosophy. I am overwhelmed and humbled each and every time I read about how ordinary people are now living extraordinary lives just by adding a few daily disciplines to their entire daily regime. As I poured thousands of notes and letters we have received over the years, I began to see a pattern of certain principles these people followed that are a part of the slight edge philosophy. Principles that I have taught in some form over the years, but have never put down on paper until now. I was able to isolate seven specific and actionable principles that you can apply right now and use as a guidepost as you head into the next part of the book. Before you can master the slight edge in your own life, you need a game plan to guide you along the way. Number one, and this is one of the best slight edge principles that I can ever think of, and totally adhere with this. Annie Lamott says, number one, show up. Hope begins in the dark. The stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and watch and work, you don't give up. Woody Allen, the famous playwright, once said that 80% of success is showing up. I am one that subscribes to this philosophy wholeheartedly. You have already won half the battle if you will continue in showing up every day. The rest is left up to skill, knowledge, drive, and execution. How remarkable, right? 80% of the game is about just showing up. Rest will follow. The story of Gorge Diaz epitomizes the importance of showing up every day, no matter the circumstances. Today, he's a professional boxer who, in November 2010, defended his featherweight crown in Atlantic City and has a record of 15 to 0 as of his sprinting. Not bad for a kid who grew up in one of the toughest neighborhoods in New Jersey. After reading Slight Edge in 2006, he said the book changes philosophy and approach to the sport of boxing. Here is a short segment of his story. I have been boxing since I was 11. I am from a tough neighborhood and had very strong parents who were struggling financially. Very young parents who were struggling financially. So, we didn't have money for a boxing trainer to spend one on one time with me. But I applied the slight edge principle and showed up to the gym to practice every single day. Nothing could stop me from showing up. For years, I would lose at finals or walk away with a bronze. More often than not, I lost in the finals of national events. Even when I was upset from losing, I firmly believed in the slight edge principle and the compounding of my efforts. 10 years later, I am now staring to see the fruits of my labor, and I'm currently the featherweight champion with a record of 15 to 0. Not that I'm a little older and wiser. I firmly believe at a greater level in all the philosophies of the slight edge. I have learned how to use my past as a tool to help make my right to the future a little easier. I firmly believe that if I keep my simple daily routines consistent with nothing fancy, just keep refining my craft and keep swimming in the bucket of milk, I know that it will turn into butter. Wow. George had every excuse not to show up to the gym every day, but he did anyways because he knew that by doing the little things every day, it would eventually give him the strength, discipline, and smarts to bring him the featherweight championship. Congratulations, George, on your success. I had the distinct pleasure of teaching this principle to my daughter Amber when she achieved a lifelong goal of becoming a gator at the University of Florida. For those who know me, there is no bigger fan of the school. I've spent my daughter's early years giving her not so subtle hints as to where she should go when the time came to choosing a college. I guess my prodding worked. It was at her freshman orientation when I was able to share with Amber the importance of showing up. We, along with thousands of others, incoming freshmen and their parents, were sitting in the audience when the dean of students announced the average GPA for announced from the podium that they had 6,700 incoming freshmen that year. Of that group, the average GPA average was 4.0. The SAT scores were in the top 10% of the nation. Intimidating words to say the least. I wasn't sure if he was trying to motivate or scare them. Amber, I was afraid, was feeling the latter. This would her first true competition since high school, where she also averaged a 4.0 GPA, but she knew that her natural talents got her up to the top of her high school class may not be enough to give her an upper hand in college. To her anxiety, we went out to dinner, and the first question out of her mouth before we ever sat down was, Dad, I'm going up against the best of the best. What am I going to do to get an edge on my classmates? Calmly, but surely, I said to her, it's going to be so easy to beat these students. Amber rolled her eyes. I was a little worried that she was getting herself, what she was getting herself into. What I shared with her was some simple philosophies that would lay the foundation for her college career. I said, first off, you can beat half of these kids simply by showing up. Sounds too easy, right? I could tell Amber was still a little confused by simplicity of my statement, but I wasn't done. I told her, if you will go always, if you also go to every single class, even when those around you will pressure you to stay home, you will beat half the students by outlasting them. I could tell things were starting to click a little in her mind. Amber was already used to going to school every day in high school. This was something she could do. She did it for 4 years in high school, and I could tell by the look on her face she was starting to believe me, but the lesson had just begun. Number two, be consistent. In baseball, my theory is to strive for consistency, not to worry about the numbers. If you dwell on statistics, you get short sighted. If you aim for consistency, numbers will be there at the end, says Tom Seaver. Showing up is important, but its natural companion, consistency, is what makes it a powerful duo. Showing up consistently is where the magic happens. I told Amber she not only needed to show up every day for school, but it had to be coupled with at least 2 hours of study per day. Again, this was something Amber already knew how to do from high school that had led her to a 4.0 GPA. From my own experience, I know how easy it is to get caught up in the vicious cycle of cramming for tests. My advice to her was to leave that to the others. The lesson also came with a disclaimer. These things, though easy to do, were also very easy not to do. She would be challenged by roommates and other friends to skip class for other campus activities that I know are all part of the college experience. I could tell she was starting to get what I was saying. But could it be that simple, just to show up every day for class and study for 2 hours a day? The first sign of success came 3 weeks later when Amber called and said, Dad, remember that class I have with 400 students in it? Well, there are only 80 people who come now. So, what could have happened in 3 weeks? Amber said they hadn't had a test yet, so no one could have fulfilled, no one could have flunked out. In less than 3 weeks, 75% of class was gone. I told her to just keep showing up and to study for 2 hours a day. 4 years later, right on time, I'm graduating at the very top of a business class just by doing these two simple things. Easy principles that applied daily can yield fabulous results. Amber wasn't any better or smarter than the other kids. They were the cream of the crop, top notch students. But Amber had one distinct advantage the others didn't. She had a philosophy just drove her to stay on course even when everyone else was doing the opposite. She showed up consistently and succeeded because she had a simple philosophy that she applied every day, rain or shine. Consistency yields results. I am a big sports fan. And sports always make wonderful metaphors for life. The lessons learned from sports are many and are used frequently when I speak to large audiences. One of them is the importance of consistency. To be a great football team, not only do you have to practice every day, but practicing includes running the same plays over and over again until everyone gets them right. So all that is left is execution. Head baseball coach and the slight edge reader Russell Stockton of Houston knows firsthand how constant repetition pays off for his team. In his 20 years as a head baseball coach, mostly at smaller colleges, he never had the luxury of landing a blue chip recruit for his team. To equal the playing field a few years ago, he instilled the slight edge principles into his coaching philosophy, and it has produced amazing results, earning him a conference title and a trip to the NCAA regional tournament for the first time in 10 years. Stockton has always been very successful in getting his team to buy into mastering the simple fundamentals of the game. In a letter he sent us, he tells of one pitcher who was expected to break into the starting rotation at the beginning of the season, but ended up being one of the most valuable players on his team come playoff time. Here is the story. I was a new assistant coach at the university and was assigned to the pitchers. The head coach gave me the rundown of all the guys and told me who to spend the most time with. This one player, we will call him Tom, he told me not to spend much time with him as he was just non-factor. However, this player brought into the slight edge concept that I taught him that he did the drills religiously. By the end of the year, because he applied the slight edge principles and had improved his game so much, he was drafted in the third round and signed for a little less than $500,000. He should be in the big leagues next year. Wow. Stockton has always been very successful in getting his team to buy into mastering the simple fundamentals of the game. The best example Stockton used is how he implements a slight edge philosophy is with his hitters. I tell my hitters when practice is over, if they choose to go to the batting cage and hit two buckets of balls, approximately 100 swings, it will only take about 20 minutes, easy to do. However, most leave and go home, also easy to do. But if they take 100 extra swings 5 days a week, they will have 500 extra swings by the end of the week. I tell them they probably will not be much better, but don't stop. Do that all 4 weeks of the month. By the end of it, the first month, they should have 2,000 extra swings. You might start seeing a positive change, but don't stop. If you do this for 10 months of the school year, by the time we hit the playoffs, you should have 20,000 extra swings. But if you can take it at least five teammates with you to the batting cages, then our team will be getting 100,000 extra swings. That year we won the conference title at 6 to 8 hitters who bought into this idea. There are some who wouldn't be as dedicated as the baseball players led by Coach Stockton in doing the little things every day. Some people, when they get the tiniest amount of freedom, fall off the wagon and stop doing everything they were taught to do. Why does this happen? Simply because they are now in an environment where they find themselves with no structure, no one telling them what to do. The principles of showing up consistently give people the structure they will need in their lives, the portions they can handle. So we have gone up by about 4 minutes of our reading. So it's time for a lotus of gratitude. So let's close our wonderful hands. Left hand, your fingers and thumb is joined. Right hand, your finger and thumbs are joined. As we close our eyes and take a deep breath in, let's align ourselves with our breath. Observe the breath going in and going out. At least see it thrice. There's no need to interfere with the breathing pattern. Organically, the breathing is happening, just being in conjunction with the breath. If you observe thrice the breath going in, thrice the breath going out, you're now prepared to do the lotus of gratitude. Keep opening one finger, namely the petal, and keep expanding the gratitude that has happened in the last 48 hours since we've met online. And as you expand the gratitude, please know the daily practice of lotus of gratitude helps us to sleep with gratitude every single day. It's a beautiful concept of just 5 minutes, but very powerful, and one that leads us into a lot of gratitude, a lot of world of where we're expanding our lives. So the first finger opens up. Take 100 seconds and keep thanking with each petal opening up. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this beautiful, magical life, dear life. Thank you that there's so many things I can count gratitude towards. As I say this beautiful intention of gratitude, I am now opening my heart into becoming an expansive one, where I allow the warmth of the gratitude to just flood my heart and increase my energy zone, making it so much more expansive. And as I expand my gratitude, I turn my hands outwards as if blessing whoever is coming. The way my beautiful gratitude expanded my heart, may you keep being grateful and expanding your hearts. Let my wish reach you far and wide, on Mother Earth, in this universe, on other planets, on other universes. May my blessings reach far and wide. May I keep becoming a conduit of spreading love, light, happiness, and gratitude. Let there be love, let there be growth, let there be beautiful life. And now let's fold our hands together, rub them tight, feel the tingling, the warmth, and bless your beautiful eyes and request them to sleep tight and have a good night. And bless your entire body. Keep blessing it. Keep blessing it. Keep blessing it. Let all the 30 trillion cells of your bodies come alive and be blessed. And may they live in a very harmonious world where your body becomes a temple. So much of love, so much of light. Please sleep tight and have a good night. I'm going to see you tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much.